lifetime, I have never seen an incompetent coach, an incompetent quarterback united at the hip with no end in sight. And I want to be clear, I'm saying this without mentioning the name Shedeur Sanders, because it ain't got nothing to do with him. He doesn't even have to be on this roster for this to be one of the dumbest decisions in the history of the NFL.
Chaos just hit college football like a bad halftime show. Dillon Gabriel literally got stranded mid-game, like a quarterback waiting for an Uber that never came, while Coach Stefanski apparently decided Shedeur Sanders' seat looks better on the bench. Fans are losing their minds, players are confused, and the internet's turned this into a full-blown soap opera. What really happened out there? Buckle up, because this drama makes reality TV look like Sunday school.
The reason why I don't expect to see Shedeur anytime real soon, two things. One, I mean, I've talked about this a ton. Coaching staff has shown no interest in playing him. Like, none. They don't seem eager to get him in there. They don't seem excited to even have him on the team. That's just how it reads, man. That's just the vibe you get ever since he was drafted was like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's on the team, but it doesn't mean we have to play him. And the other thing is, I know it's Tony Rizzo, but he was at a game when he came out and said, I had two sources at the game, and both sources confirmed the plan is for Shedeur Sanders to play the last 4 games of the season.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. The Cleveland Browns have done it again. Another Sunday, another meltdown, another reminder that disappointment isn't just a feeling in Cleveland, it's a lifestyle. This week's opponent, the New York Jets, a team most fans circle on the calendar as a free win.
Dillon Gabriel, and I'm sorry, Dillon, you cannot play NFL football. This is like the AI Atlas. We've never seen it before. And after the game, for the Browns to just say, not even arbitrarily, they're saying it like it's the mantra of the team that Dillon Gabriel's playing again next week. Such a great exercise in incompetence that we should study this in some type of anthropology class at the highest level of educational institution in this country. Malpractice, this is...
But not the Browns. The Browns see that matchup and think, how can we turn this into a life lesson about pain? Dillon Gabriel stepped onto that field like a man on a mission that apparently didn't include winning.
We're back to making fun of the Cleveland Browns, and that little Hawaiian leprechaun did it to us again yesterday, and now we're just waiting for Stefanski to get fired as we're on Shedeur Sanders. Watch, because the quarterback change is going to happen one way or another somewhere down the road, but a lot's happening in the media. A lot to discuss, as you can believe, after yesterday, as we watched Stefanski stumble in front of the microphone, all monotone, not giving us an answer about these quarterbacks, scared to mention Shedeur's name, but just giving us the same answer every single.
Under new offensive coordinator Tommy Reeds, you'd think there'd be a spark, some sign of progress, a glimmer of competence. Nope. 6 sacks later, the only spark visible was the one coming from the broken headset on the sideline.
Haslam said during training camp that you knew that seeing both young quarterbacks at some point this season was important. So just where is Shedeur at as far as his development, and do you have a timetable of when you would take a look at him?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to speculate, Daryl. We're committed to getting better as an offense. Dillon is certainly committing to improving every which way he can, and all the while, all of our players, young players, are developing and working so hard behind the scenes to make sure that they're getting better on a daily basis.
The final score, 27-20. Sounds close, right? Don't be fooled. That's just the scoreboard being polite. Dillon went 17 for 32, a whole 167 yards, which basically means the ball spent more time in the air than in the hands of anyone productive. 32 passing attempts and nothing to show for it but frustration and grass stains. If disappointment were a stat, he'd be leading the league. Every play looked like deja vu, snap, scramble, sack, sigh. The Jets' defensive line was treating him like an unpaid intern who forgot the coffee order. And through it all, the Browns sideline had that same vacant optimism, that maybe next drive energy, that's kept them loyal to losing for decades. And you know who's smiling through it all? Kevin Stefanski. Every post-game presser, You can already predict the script. We just need to execute better. We're still figuring things out. We'll fix it next week. Losing to the Jets isn't just bad. It's a cry for help. Because if you can't beat the Jets, who can you beat? This is the team that once made butt fumbles famous. You lose to them, and you're not even in the conversation. You're the punchline. The Browns, though, they wear chaos proudly. It's tradition at this point. Somewhere in that locker room, there's probably a framed quote that says, "Why fix what's always broken?"
True. If the Browns have already established like Dillon Gabriel's going to play until the last 4, and then we're going to give Shedeur that last 4 games. Kevin Stefanski will not bench Dillon Gabriel before he has to, before the plan says this is when you're doing it. I firmly believe that.
I just don't think 4 is enough. Why waste another game? Like, I understand, maybe there's a plan and you're going to give this guy this much, but you already know. You don't need to waste more time. 4 is not enough to see if Shedeur. 4 could be enough. Yeah. 1 was enough. I watched Dillon Gabriel one game and was like, okay, this is not good.
Gods, and honestly, who can blame him? Because this right here, this mess of a game, is exactly what he was warning about. A team that can't protect its quarterback, can't execute under pressure, and can't seem to tell the difference between rebuilding and just being bad. The football gods must be laughing. Every week, Stefanski benches Shedeur. Another miracle of failure unfolds. It's like karma has a season pass to Cleveland. The front office treats accountability like it's optional. Jimmy Haslam, sitting in his box, probably thought, hey, at least the uniforms look clean. Fans have had it. People are tired of watching the same movie with a different score. You can only endure so many moral victories before it starts to feel like emotional tax. And losing to the Jets? That's not a learning experience, that's a personality test. The Browns fan base, though, they're loyal to a fault. Some were even smiling after the loss. Celebrating moral growth, I guess. Nothing says winning culture like posting heart emojis after getting beat by the Jets. Cleveland has redefined optimism. They treat losing like yoga. Deep breathing, acceptance, and pretending it's healthy. Meanwhile, the media's no better. Local reporters grinning through post-game interviews, acting like 27-20 was a brave fight instead of a slow collapse. If positivity could score touchdowns, the Browns would be undefeated.
What's going on with Shedeur in Cleveland, man? I still got hope, though. Right after the game, coaches, sometimes they just say shit. Hey, is he still going to be the starter? Yes. It's like, but he still got to go have his meeting. He got to have his own meeting with the owner. How y'all do it, Jay? I don't really know how it go, but I'm sure after the game, y'all big dogs upstairs have y'all own meeting and y'all kind of talk amongst each other. And maybe in that meeting, he gonna say, hey, get 18 QBR, get him the fuck out of there, bro. That's what you're doing right now. We're not waiting to why wait to the last 4 games of the season? That don't really make no sense to me.
Let's talk about Dillon Gabriel's performance again, because it's hard not to. The man looked stranded, literally stranded like a quarterback waiting for help that never came. His offensive line might as well have been traffic cones. Every dropback turned into a survival documentary. 6 sacks is bad, but what's worse is how avoidable they looked. The Jets weren't playing elite defense. They were just awake. And that's what makes this so painful. The Browns weren't outplayed by talent. They were out-organized, out-coached, and out-motivated. It's not even about ability anymore. It's about accountability. But accountability doesn't exist in Cleveland's dictionary. And it's funny in a tragic kind of way. Because while all this chaos unfolds, Shedeur Sanders is somewhere in the background, watching the circus from the sidelines. The guy everyone wants to see play, but the team refuses to unleash. At this point, he's more myth than man. Football's Bigfoot. Deion Sanders must be watching with that "I told you so" smirk, sipping something expensive. Knowing he dodged a storm, he warned them. He warned all of us. Nobody wanted to listen. And now Cleveland's the living embodiment of what happens when you ignore common sense.
But because what we're talking about here is we ain't even seen him play. What we're dealing with today is because of Kevin Stefanski and his hand-picked quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, who he's been spreading propaganda about since day one. He's received the reps. You told us he was a supercomputer. You told us how great he was. You told us 1,000 times. And you talk about, well, you ain't got no lineman. Well, guess what? You could have drafted a lineman in the 3rd round that could have helped you, or a receiver. But you took Dillon Gabriel. He's been getting reps since day one.
You'd think the Browns would learn from history. They've had more quarterbacks than most franchises have winning seasons. Yet somehow they manage to repeat the same mistakes like it's tradition. Maybe they think chaos is character building. Maybe losing is their way of keeping fans humble. Either way, it's working. Let's be honest. This isn't about one bad game. This is about culture. The Browns have built a system so allergic to success, even hope gets benched. Every season starts with hype and ends with therapy. A declaration that mediocrity is alive and well in Cleveland. Dillon Gabriel's performance was a masterclass in futility. The new coordinator Tommy Reed's didn't make a difference because you can't polish chaos. The offense looked like it was being run by a group chat. And Stefanski, bless his optimism, still insists the team is close. Close to what, exactly? Implosion? Because from where everyone's sitting, this train's already off the rails. The Browns' offense moves like an expired coupon. Technically still valid, but nobody wants to deal with it. The receivers are running routes like GPS is buffering. The running game, missing in action. And through it all, Stefanski keeps doubling down on the same quarterback who can't move the ball. You can almost hear the universe begging, put in Shedeur Sanders, but no. Cleveland doesn't like easy fixes. They'd rather suffer creatively.
Losing this game and kind of now being behind the eight ball. I mean, do you stick with Dillon Gabriel after this game, or do you think about making a change?
Yeah, we're going to stick with Dillon. Obviously, this is a young players that you're always trying to get one game better and those type of things, but we have to play better as an offense. We have to coach better, all the above.
You know, losing this game and kind of now being behind the eight ball. I mean, do you stick with Dillon Gabriel after this game, or do you think about making a change?
Yeah, we're going to stick with Dillon. Obviously, this is a young players that you're always trying to get one game better and those type of things, but we have to play better as an offense. We have to coach better, all the above.
And the fans, oh the fans, they've seen it all. You can't even shock them anymore. They've gone past anger, past disappointment, straight into numb sarcasm. Some of them are betting against their own team just for emotional stability. When you can make money off misery, that's next level loyalty. But hey, who can blame them? Because as long as the Browns keep doing Shedeur dirty, the football gods will keep taking attendance. Every week another lesson, another humiliation, another reason Dion's words echo louder. And that's the saddest part. Cleveland doesn't even realize they're the joke. Now imagine being Shedeur Sanders in all this. Sitting there, watching, probably wondering if he should just fake a Wi-Fi issue during team meetings. Because honestly, who would want to step into this? He could walk on that field and instantly become the face of the rebuild, or the next chapter in the Browns' horror anthology. And somewhere, Deion Sanders is shaking his head, whispering, "Told you so." Back then, people said he was exaggerating when he didn't want Shedeur anywhere near the Browns. But now it makes perfect sense. He knew exactly what this organization was capable of. Absolutely nothing. And they'll tell fans to trust the process, even though the process clearly expired 3 rebuilds ago. And what's wild is how normal it's become. Losing isn't even shocking anymore. It's expected. Cleveland's become the friend who promises to change but keeps showing up late, smelling like regret. But
him and Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns have no legs to stand on talking about who's ready and who ain't. Because obviously this guy has never been ready. But they continue to force feed him down your throat as if there's any redeeming qualities. There aren't. And so if you think that you're going to go get another quarterback, it is malpractice to keep trotting him out here when you have another quarterback who's sitting in the wings that you can see if you're gonna be able to play him, and he's a franchise guy. Nobody is saying give Shedeur Sanders the keys. All they're saying is give him an opportunity to show what he can do, and it's based on this. And by the way, how many games did Joe Flacco get?
But let's give credit where it's due. The Browns are consistent. Consistently unpredictable. Consistently frustrating. Consistently allergic to winning. There's a strange comfort in it. You always know what you're getting. No hope, no surprise. Just pure, unfiltered disappointment served weekly. Meanwhile, other teams are out there evolving, adapting, finding ways to win. And Cleveland's busy hosting therapy sessions in the locker room. You start to wonder if the franchise is cursed or just stubborn. This loss to the Jets was the perfect storm of everything wrong with the Browns. Sometimes passion isn't about yelling. It's about noticing when your team is drowning and throwing a life jacket instead of a compliment. Because right now, the Browns don't need pep talks. They need a reboot. Start from scratch, rethink everything, maybe even sage the locker room. Whatever it takes to break this cycle. But will it happen? Probably not. Because change requires admitting there's a problem. And Cleveland's allergic to accountability. They'll patch it up, spin the loss, talk about effort, and move on like it's business as usual. At this point, the only people thriving in this situation are meme creators. The internet's been feasting on Cleveland content for years. Every loss is a new opportunity for comedy gold. In this game, oh, this one was a buffet. Still,
hey, I would like to see him come into the news conference and name a player by name.
Names.
And say,
this great names.
Cannot happen. But he won't. He gives them cover. He gives them cover. This is the wrong coach. He is the wrong coach. And I like Kevin. Personally, I do like him. And I do think as a coordinator, he will find more success in this league. Just not here. There's too many landmines here that you can't miss. But the one thing that tells me he's not a head coach is his treatment. How I don't even want to say he's a player's coach. He's just blah.
Still, somewhere under all the sarcasm, there's a sliver of hope. Because the fans, bless their resilient hearts, never stop caring. They still tune in, still cheer, still believe that maybe, just maybe, this will be the week everything changes. That's the beauty and tragedy of Cleveland football. It breaks you, then convinces you to come back for more. And maybe one day it'll click. Maybe Shedeur Sanders will finally get his shot, and everything will shift. Maybe Dillon Gabriel will find his rhythm, losing games they should win, celebrating small steps while tripping over the big ones, and reminding the world that hope is both their strength and their curse. Because that's what it means to be a Browns fan. Laugh through the pain, meme through the madness, and hold on to that eternal next week optimism. So here we are again, another Sunday, another lesson in humility. Dillon Gabriel stranded mid-game. Stefanski stubborn as ever. Shedeur Sanders waiting for the world to make sense. The Browns remain the NFL's favorite tragedy, equal parts comedy and heartbreak. And if you're still watching, still caring, still holding on, congratulations. You've earned your badge of endurance. You're part of a fan base that finds joy in chaos, loyalty in loss, and comedy in collapse. Because in Cleveland, hope doesn't die. It just takes longer to recover from the sack.